Okay guys, work is continuing on the 1975 Can-Am 250 TNT. As you can see, we've got the rear fender off, we've got the side panels off, we've got the gas tank off, and we're doing a few things on it, so I wanted to share that with you today. One of the things we're doing is we're going to try to retain the old plastic gas tank, and I know that's a huge issue. I've read a ton of forum comments and videos on how to restore these things and yada yada. Well, we're going to give it a go. I did buy new plastics. I have them on order for DC Plastics, excuse me, new fenders, not the gas tank, but new fenders from DC Plastics, and they are going to be arriving here in about a week, I think, something like that. So I'm looking forward to that. But the gas tank, rather than buy a brand new Clark gas tank, which is something you can do, I thought, you know what, before I do that, why not just go to town on the old tank and just see what we can do. Like I'm pulling out all the stops on this, and we're just going to give it a go and see what happens. So that's what we're doing, and I'm doing a little bit of crazy stuff with it. So let me show you that first. Okay guys, well, we're back out in the backyard here now, and here's what we got going on with the tank so far. I didn't film all of what I've done to it, but in essence what I did is I've got it out here baking in the sun in a combination of hydrogen peroxide, xanthan gum, and Oxi-Clean. And it's just going to be baking away here. In fact, actually, I think we should turn it around here. It's been on that side for a while. We'll spin it around. Every few hours I spin it around. So we're going to give this a go. I also did actually sand it significantly. I'd started with hand sanding, and I realized it needed quite a bit more work than that. So I thought, oh, what the heck, let's just go for it. So I got out the orbital sander and some 80 grit sandpaper, which is, you know, pretty serious but not ridiculous, and sanded the heck out of it. And now we are going to be using the Oxi-Clean hydrogen peroxide and xanthan gum recipe on this thing. And as you can see, it's on there kind of like a paste. I don't know if you can, the camera's really picking that up, but I got my shadow in the way here. But anyways, yeah, you can kind of see the texture here. It's that's the whole idea. So this is something that they do for computer parts and for other things that turn yellow, as where they'll actually dip them and submerge them actually in hydrogen peroxide. And because of the size of this, I mean, I'd need a hell of a lot of hydrogen peroxide to submerge this thing. So what you do in the instance where you've got a bigger unit is you essentially make a paste out of hydrogen peroxide using xanthan gum. And for those that don't know, it's kind of like cornstarch. You can find it in the health food section of your supermarket. It's a thickening agent, and it doesn't have as many carbs, so that's sort of an alternative to cornstarch. Just happened I had some in the house here, and essentially the recipe here is I used 500 milliliters of hydrogen peroxide, about 3 to 4 teaspoons of xanthan gum, and about 2 tablespoons of Oxi-Clean. So that's the recipe. I'll put the recipe in the description if you want to give it a go. And this is actually my second go with it. The first go actually worked really quite well. The stuff actually, I think this is working even better, because the first go around was before I'd actually done a lot of sanding, and it really, you know, you could really see it absorbing a lot of the yellowing. So we'll see how white this gets it. And then of course after this, if this actually turns out half decent, we're gonna have to do quite a bit of fine sanding and polishing to bring it back up to a reasonable degree. So we may even try a little bit of the heat gun trick on this. I'm not sure. I'm pulling out all the stops. Worst case, I'll just, you know, order a new one from DC Plastics. So I'm really not stressed about it. I'm just going to go for it. Okay, we're back out in the garage, and as mentioned, we also have the seat off of this thing. So if we just kind of spin our way over here and take a look, we have got the seat, and I'm starting to take the staples out around. It's kind of interesting. It looks like it's some plastic material. that is around the perimeter here for stapling to. You can kind of see where it's been stapled. This edge, you can actually see that strip here is what you're stapling to. So hopefully my stapler is strong enough to go through it. The staples are quite small. They look like, I'll have to measure them, but they look like they're either 1/4 inch or something smaller than 1/4 inch staples. And of course we've got our new seat cover here, and that is courtesy of Vintage Roost. So thank you very much, Vintage Roost, for sending that to me. So yeah, so the process is going to be to take that one off, put that one on, and for the heck of it, I think maybe I'll film that. I think most of you guys kind of know how to do this sort of job, but for those that don't, I've done a few of them, typically on CT70s, Honda CT70s. I've never done a Can-Am, but we're going to do one today. So anyways, hey, let's get after it. Okay guys, so the process obviously is first off to take the staples out and take this off. Now you could just rip this off, but I'm going to be a little bit careful with it because my seat is actually in pretty good condition, as you can see. It's got a couple whammies. I think I mentioned in one of my other videos that somebody had fixed it at some point with black RTV, but it's really not that bad, and I want to make sure that this one fits, or I'll put this one back on again. So probably don't need to be that careful, but I've got a little bit of time here, and I'm just going to take my time with it and just take the staples out carefully and try to preserve, you know, this the old seat cover for now until I get the other one fully on there, and then I'll throw it away. So it only takes a few minutes, but essentially the process, and you know, at the end of the day, it doesn't take that much extra time to do it this way because all these staples have to come out anyways. So if I just rip the thing off, I would still have to go back and pry out all the staples. So it doesn't take that long. I'm being a little careful getting them out of here because I don't want these all over my shop, or don't want to be stepping on them, yada yada. So I'm just gonna rip them out as I go and chuck them away. So that's what we're doing. You don't have to, I won't hold you guys up watching me take all these staples out. I will fast forward through all of this as I just go for it and just do it. So. Okay guys, well you know what? I think it's ready for the big unveiling here. I think that we've got all the staples out. I think there's probably one lonely one somewhere that I've missed, but generally I think we got them all out. So let's see what this 1975 foam looks like, eh? What little surprises might be under here. So here she comes. There is our old cover off. So not too bad, actually, not too bad. It's still got quite a bit of cush to it too, eh? Actually, that foam is in really good shape. Obviously, that's a cigarette burn or something there. That was the one that was fixed with RTV on the cover. It's not going to matter a yin yang when we, you know, when we put the new cover on. So I'm pretty happy with that. I think the thing to do now is to double check that we do actually have all the staples out of this plastic. And sure enough, there's going to always be a couple that you miss. It's just the way it is. So let's make sure we got all of that out. These things, in case you're wondering here, are not staples. This is these are they almost look like little metal pins that have then been, they're kind of like reverse staples that are actually holding these pieces of plastic on here. So those are not staples, in case you're wondering. Why am I not pulling those out? It's because they're not supposed to come out. Because that's what we're going to go and actually staple our new cover to. Those are actually our attachment points. It actually makes it really simple to actually see. You can see where you need to staple just by looking at the white plastic here. So there's another random staple we got sitting here. I want all of these out and clean before we put the new cover on there. You can also see this, you know, the seat pan itself is in amazingly good shape too. I mean, it's, you know, I've not even cleaned it or anything. It's just the way it is when I got the bike. Not rusty at all. So it's actually really nice. In fact, actually, you know what? Maybe we will do that. Maybe we'll actually just, you know, spray a little Windex on here and just clean it up a little bit. Just get a little bit of the dirt off before we put the new cover on. So let's do that. Okay guys, given obviously the staples are going to be the most integral and important part of this whole build or restoration, I'm kind of kidding, I thought I'd pull up the caliper and just see what these staples are. So for those that are following along at home, if you're curious, it says 11/64, but the staple is quite a little bit bent, so I think it's actually 3/16. Yeah, there you go, 3/16. So that is the size of the staple we need, or 3/16 staples. So now I know what to go and grab. I think I have some in my workshop, so I'm gonna go check, and we'll be right back. So we'll continue on with the effort here. So now we need to go and pull this a little bit more here. Okay guys, and there we have it. We've got the whole thing stapled all the way around the perimeter, and there is our final seat. So I think it looks really, really good. I got a little dirty putting it on, didn't I? But yeah, really nice. Really nice. Great quality. The fabric is really great to work with. I gotta say, I'm very impressed with this vintage Roost seat cover. It's excellent. The fabric's got some stretch to it, and look at that, it just forms and fits just perfect. So yeah, so hopefully this helped somebody, yeah, I mean, that's it for the seat recovery portion of this video. I think for the rest of it, I think we're going to go outside, and I think we're going to take the saran wrap off of the hydrogen peroxided gas tank, so that should be pretty exciting. So hang on for that. Let's do that next. Okay, so we've had the gas tank out here cooking away in our hydrogen peroxide mix. Again, hydrogen peroxide, Xanthan Gum, and Oxi-Clean for about 2 days now. So we are now going to take it apart, we're going to unwrap it, we're going to wash it off, and we're going to see just exactly what we get on this thing before we go to the next step, which of course would be continuing to sand, etc., etc. So I'm not going to do it right here because I don't want this all over the grass. It'd probably just kill the grass. So we're gonna move this operation and go and wash it off. So let's go do that. Okay, guys, time for the grand unveiling. Let's do this. Move this over here so you can see it maybe a little bit better. Keeping the camera a little bit of away from this because I don't want to splash it. We'll just see what we got. Now again, this is the second time that we've gone through this process. The first time I did it, I sort of had hand sanded it, and then I did it, and then I realized, and it did make quite a difference. But then I went kind of full on with a orbital sander, just a random orbital sander and 80 grit sandpaper, and then I did this process, and it's already looking pretty darn good. Now you can kind of tell that gel. Look at the color of the gel. Now this went on there white, okay, and you can see it's actually picked up that yellowy color. Oh, here's a good example right here. Look at that of the. It's actually taken a lot of that stuff out of the plastics. So let me just get this out of the way, this nastiness. Ooh, that's terrible. Let's get that right out of our way. We'll clean that up later. We're going to give this a bit of a go, a bit of a rinse off, and see what we get underneath all this goo. And you can see it's fully coated everywhere. So adjust our table a little bit here. Give us something to prop it up against. It's quite slippery, as you can appreciate, with all that goop on it. So there we go. I'm gonna do it like this. It doesn't go anywhere now. Now again, we're not looking for perfection on this tank. We're just looking at getting it a lot better than what it was. And the process isn't done yet. We're going to sand it and stuff after this as well. But it's coming along. You can definitely see some modeling there. You can see some areas, you know, I still have, actually, you know, maybe that's goop stuck on there. So there's definitely some modeling there for sure. So it's not absolutely consistent. I think a lot of that will come up with more sanding, however. But it's an infinite improvement from where it was. This thing was pretty much full on yellow, as I'm sure you guys are well aware. So definitely a lot better than what it was. Interestingly, where the old Can-Am sticker was, that's been sanded, you know, all this has been sanded like crazy, but I'm not too terribly worried about that because, of course, the new sticker is going to go on there. And I've ordered a perforated sticker, so hopefully that will be, you know, help us with it not peeling off. I'm also contemplating sealing the tank. I know a lot of guys use Caswells, but I'm trying to do this low cost and with what I have, and I have some red coat. Which I have seen a number of guys have used successfully, although red coats themselves don't recommend it, but there's a number, it seems that everybody that's used it is happy with it on these plastic tanks. So I think I may do that because I actually have some in the cupboard, which would be ideal. We're going to have to clean the inside of the tank out more. One of the things that I did do is I did the trick of putting some gravel into the tank with a bunch of Dawn dish soap and a bit of water, and totally it's pretty much basically clean inside there other than the goop that I may have got in there now. So it'll obviously need to be more thoroughly washed before we ever put gas in this thing, but it's also coming along quite good. But there we go, there's our here she is. Let me show you the top side here. So you can see we still have some modeling, but it's, you know, it's definitely some yellowing there. We're going to do some more sanding. We might even do this process another time to see if we can get that a little bit better. Worst case, absolutely worst case, we will, you know, we'll just buy another tank, right? So, anyways, that's where we're at so far. Okay guys, we've got it fully rinsed off now, and I just thought I'd show it to you. It was a little bit dark over there where it was in the shade where I was rinsing it off. So I just thought I'd show it to you in the bright light of day as I'm drying it off here. You can still see a little bit of modeling there, but you can see it's actually really good. It's not bad at all. Is this thing ever going to be like snow white? Probably not. But I'm not going to paint it because of all the issues that guys have had in the past. And I know some guys have managed to do it, but I've just decided not to go that way. I'm going to leave the patina, what there is of this bike. I'm going to try to make it as good as I can, but we're not going to go and actually, we're going to try not to buy a tank. We're going to try not to paint it, although I think we will coat the inside of it with red coat. But what I want to do now is just let it dry in the sun a little bit, not for too long. In fact, it's almost dry already. I've only had it out here a couple of minutes. It's a hot day here today. It's going to be about 90 degrees today. And then I'm going to go and wet sand it. It's probably a little ridiculous to dry it and then wet sand it, but that's just what I'm choosing to do. But yeah, you can actually see that modeling pretty good in places. So we may have to do this hydrogen peroxide treatment again. But it is definitely working. It's definitely taking it out. The whole thing was just, even after sanding, was completely yellowed in a big way, and a lot of that yellowing is going away. Now obviously we have not a smooth or shiny surface here, so you know the next step after we're comfortable with where we get it coloration wise, then we'll go and try to use, you know, a progressively finer sandpapers, and then polishing with a wool wheel to try to bring up, and maybe a heat gun. I don't know, we'll experiment a little bit. We can experiment in some of the areas, especially where the decals are going to go. It's interesting, it doesn't seem to matter how much I sand this, you can still see where the decal was, but trust me, it's all off in a big way. But I'm not worried about this again. In fact, in some ways it's good because it gives me lines exactly where I'm going to put the new decals, right? So I really don't care. But the underside and even this area will give us a good idea of how we can experiment with different polishing techniques to bring the rest of it up really good. So anyways, guys, I think we're going to wrap it up here. I think that's the end of this one. There's going to be lots more videos on this, but I don't want to make this this one too long. So please do subscribe and leave a comment. Let me know if I'm crazy or not. I think I probably am, but let me know what you like what I'm doing and what you think is nuts. I really appreciate all the comments, and I reply to every one of them. So that's my commitment to you. You leave a comment and I will personally reply back to you. And like the video too if you happen to enjoy it. Anyways, guys, have a good one, and we will catch you on the next one. Bye for now.